Hi everybody. It's me, Patrick. This is my Mickey Mouse impression. Hope you like it.
See, these are the things you miss by taking an online class. You don't get to hear me doing my impressions live in class, which I do almost every day. You also don't get to see my big bag of toys, which I actually bring out on the first day of class, although you have seen some of my toys. What I decided to do for this video homework, which is going to be talking about the 3 types of attribution errors. And just to let you know what an attribution error is, an attribution error is when you attribute behavior to somebody, and in the process of attribution, you make an error. Hence the name attribution error. I know, it's wicked crazy, wild people coming up with weird names. So what I decided to do is I have this bag, and I want to show you that the bag is indeed full of toys. I don't want anybody thinking this is a weird magic trick. So let's see if I can get this up here. There are my toys, lots and lots and lots of toys in there. And what I'm going to do is there's no cuts, there's no edits. This is no magic going on right now. I'm going to dig way deep into the pile of toys, and I'm just going to pull out the first thing that I get here. And that what I pull out is going to be my prop for the rest of today. Kind of like Gallagher right now, if you remember Gallagher. If you don't, look him up. Oh, look, it's a switchblade. No, just kidding. It's a spatula. It's a spatula with a weird slot in the middle. See if you can get this better. It's actually a pink. It's pink. Let's see if I can turn the light off. Maybe you can see it better. So, oh yeah, there you go. It's pink with a purple handle. So that is that. I'm going to turn that off because of the glare behind. It's now bigger. So this is my spatula, and this is what I'm going to use today for explaining the 3 types of attribution error. So attribution error number 1 is called the self-serving bias error. Okay, so what the self-serving bias error says is that when something good happens to us, we're going to attribute it to ourselves, and when something bad happens, we're going to attribute it to somebody else. So let's say I'm baking a cake, and I'm making the cake, and it's like, oh, this cake came out great. Look how awesome I am. I'm going to say this is all me. Sure, I followed a recipe, and sure, I had some help from my mom, and sure, I watched somebody do it on TV, but really, this is all me. I'm going to attribute this to myself. That's the self-serving bias error. Now, let's say that the cake turns out horrible. The cake is disgusting. It's the worst cake ever. You're probably going to use the self-serving bias error to say, oh, well, that recipe was bad. My mom didn't know how to do anything. And the people on TV are idiots. Only real experts can make those. And that's the self-serving bias error. Positive things are attributed to yourself. Negative things attributed to somebody else. This is most common in college and in classes. I'm guessing that many of you have gotten a grade back. And if you get a good grade, you immediately say, hey, yeah, look how smart I am. I'm awesome. And then if you get a bad grade back, you say, gosh, that teacher sucks. Or the teacher hates me. Or you blame somebody else. So self-serving bias is very, 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 very common. We do it a lot. It kind of helps protect our ego, but at the same time, it can be a big problem if we're not taking responsibility for our own actions, both good and bad. The next kind of error is called the fundamental attribution error. I just want to make sure I got that right. Good look at my notes. Yeah, it is called the fundamental attribution error. This is similar to the self-serving bias, but a little bit different. It's usually about other people's behavior instead of your own behavior. So let's say I have this spatula here, all right? And say the spatula is my friend, and this is my friend, Tony. Hi, Tony, the spatula. Hi, Patrick. How are you doing today? I'm like, oh, great. A talking spatula. What do I need with a talking spatula? I'm like, hey, Patrick, be nice to me. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Sorry, Tony. So this is Tony, my talking spatula. The other day, Tony did not show up for a party that I held. I'm really sorry, Patrick. I had a lot of stuff going on. I'm like, I don't want to hear it, Tony. Here's what happened. Tony doesn't show up for my party. The fundamental attribution error will tell me that Tony didn't show up for my party because of some internal problem with him, meaning that he is a mean person, a bad person, he's not really my friend. The fundamental attribution error says basically that we blame something on somebody's character or somehow their inner being whenever something goes wrong. Instead of kind of listening to what Tony had to say, I just said, you know what, Tony, you're just not a good friend. Well, Tony, what actually happened? Well, Patrick, let me tell you. What happened actually is that I had a lot of work, and then my car broke down, and my phone didn't work, and I was trying to call you, but I had no service where I was, and I'm really sorry, Patrick. I'm like, oh, Tony, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have just blamed your inner being. I should have listened to you first. And that is the fundamental attribution error. Another example of fundamental attribution error, which the book gives, I believe, is say you're driving and somebody cuts you off. You automatically assume that person is an idiot driver who doesn't know how to drive, when in reality, perhaps there's something else going on. Perhaps that person was swerving to avoid hitting a little kitten in the road. Didn't want to hit the kitten and hurt the kitten. That would have been horrible. So perhaps that's what's happening, but you automatically assume it's something wrong with the person, and that's the fundamental attribution error. The final error is called the over-attribution error. And I know this is another long video, and I apologize. These concepts are a little more complex, so if you need to take a break and pause, you're welcome to. I don't mind. So anyway, here's the over-attribution error. This is commonly mixed up with stereotyping, which is one of the fundamental forces of perception, right? So the over-attribution error basically says that we attribute so much to one characteristic of a person. So Tony here, this is Tony, remember Tony. Tony here looks kind of like a kitchen tool of some kind. And so based on the fact that I think he's a kitchen tool, why'd you call me a tool, Patrick? That's not very nice. I'm like, it wasn't a negative connotation. I'm sorry about that, Tony. No, that's all right. In fact, Tony is an aspiring opera singer, right? And I assume because he falls into this category of being a kitchen tool that he just is going to be somebody who spreads frosting on cakes for the rest of his life. But when I do that, I make an over-attribution. I say, well, he's a kitchen tool. He probably likes to be washed with other kitchen tools. He probably likes to hang out with other kitchen tools. He likes to do all these things that kitchen tools do. And that is over-attribution. By saying, because he's a kitchen tool, he probably falls into all these other categories. In reality, Tony is an aspiring opera singer. He has a wife, right? He has 3 kids, and he's not at all interested in kitchen implements. And that's the problem with over-attribution, is we automatically put people into a category based on that category, attribute things to them. So what's the difference between stereotyping and over-attribution then? Here's the difference. Stereotyping is when you put somebody in a category based on a group they belong to. So I put Tony into the category of kitchen tools because, you know, that's kind of what he looks like. He looks like a kitchen tool. That is stereotyping, all right? Based on this stereotype, I believe that's what he is. Now, the over-attribution error is taking some action that somebody does and attributing that to that stereotype that I placed on them. So the attribution is actually assigning action, whereas the stereotype is just identifying somebody and perceiving what they are. The attribution is perceiving what they're doing and why they're doing that. And that's the difference between perception and attribution. So that's just something to kind of pay attention to as well. So today we talked about 3 attribution errors. We talked about the self-serving bias error, the fundamental attribution error, and we talked about the over-attribution error. There's a lot of errors in there. Hopefully no errors in this video though, and I do hope you are able to answer the questions directly below. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.